Hello my darlings, welcome back to my channel today. This is Dani. Today on my channel we're going to be creating these dramatic and modern lighted look boxes that will be sure to turn the heads of all of your guests. Stay tuned. For this project, you will need 4 5x7 frames, 1 round floral sphere. You will need an assortment of silk flowers and any leftover foliage, especially the leaves. You will need 1 pack of these 2 dome lights and of course your acrylic strings, beads. You will need your bling wrap, a few of these floral wraps, your handy dandy tools, and of course 2 greening pins. Let's get crafting. So the first thing you have to do is prepare your frames. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take off the backing of this frame by peeling away those 4 stems. Take out the piece of paper that came with it and set your glass to the side. And what I'm going to do right here is go around that lip with my E6000 glue by making little drops. And then when I have placed that glue down, I'm going to go over it, those little pellets, with my hot glue gun in an alternating fashion. So basically you have 1 E6000 pellet, 1 glue stick pellet, and so on and so forth all the way around. And then I'm just going to put my glass back in its place, and I'm going to use those pins that came with the frame just to hold that down in place as it dries. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to start to cover up the back of that frame with my bling wrap, so that when we're looking through that box or that glass, we won't see just that brown inside of that frame. You will see bling all the way around. So I'm just going to measure the length of one side of that frame and duplicate it. And then I'm going to measure the length of the short side of that frame, and I'm going to duplicate that as well. And once I start to lay those bling wrap down, it is just a matter of following the same procedure like I did with the glass. I'm going to go in with my E6000 glue first, drop some little pellets of it all the way around, and then I'm going to go in with my glue gun and drop some pellets also, alternating spaces so that there is maximum amount of coverage. Of course, the hot glue gun will give us that immediate hold that we need. And then the E6000 glue, taking a while to dry, whenever it does dry, will give us that forever stay. And so I am going to finish this frame, work on the other side, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so as you can see, I completed the insides of 2 of those frames, but I did not complete the inside of the other 2. And the reason for this is when I am joining those 2 frames, I'm going to need a surface that is unfettered or uncluttered by anything. And so in order to have this done, what I had to do was leave the 2 opposite ends empty. And then once I have glued those 2 parts together and I'm waiting for them to set, then I can go in with my bling wrap and finish the insides of the other 2. And so just to make sure we have a good seal on this box, we are going to go in with the same process that I have been using pellets of the E6000 glue, ... and then going in alternatively with my hot glue gun, ... to create that right now but permanent hold at the same time. And then once I have finished setting my glue, what I'm going to do is I am going to hold or glue those two parts of the frame together and hold them together while they set. And while I'm waiting for it to set, I'm just applying some pressure on it to make sure that that hot glue has a very good opportunity of sealing those two frames together. So here we have our box that I have tied together to ensure that it will cure nice and securely. And you can see the two plates that I have finished embellishing on the inside. And now what we have to do is embellish the ones that we have not yet done so. But I'm not going to do that at this point. I want that box to set a little while longer. So what we're going to do now while that box cures is we are going to create the space for our dome light to sit. And the first thing I have to do is find the north of my sphere, or what I'm going to be using as a north of my sphere, by just taking a flower and using the stem to find that north or place that north, and then turning it upside down and using that same flower finding my south. And that way I will ensure that when that dome light goes in and when I set my flowers, everything is aligned vertically. So I'm just going to take this steak knife. I really should have been using a utility knife, but I couldn't put my hand on mine at the time I was making this video. So I'm just going to take my steak knife and go around the perimeter of this dome light just to make sure I have a good idea of what I need to carve out. And once I have finished carving that out, I'm just going to take my knife and try to get the rest of that circle out so that I can see how well my dome light fits in there. And just carving out around the original part, trying to dig as deep as I can without splitting the sphere in half, of course. And then taking the dome light and basically forcing it in. You know, styrofoam gives way. And as I'm pushing it down, you can see that that dome light is fitting securely into that space. And so now I'm taking some foliage that I've used in the past, or flowers that I've used in the past and I did not throw with the leaves, and I'm just going to glue these flowers around the bottom half of my sphere, because when I start to arrange my flowers are only going to be arranged at the top half of the sphere. So just to make sure that when you're looking inside that frame box, you will not be seeing plain old styrofoam, you will be seeing greenery. So I have laid my first leaf down, and I'm just going to show you what I do just to lay a second leaf over it and subsequent leaves, just layering them one over the other and following that pattern until the entire half of that sphere has been covered. So here we have our sphere with the leaves on the bottom half. And now what I'm doing is I'm starting to arrange my flowers using my north. I'm just going to continue with my directions, setting my east, setting the west. Of course, we're not going to be setting south because that dome light is going to be there on the bottom, but just going around with my corners, making sure that once I've set all of my pinks, then I will be able to go in with my other colors, and each colored flower will be able to have a fair chance of being equally represented. Here we have our finished hibiscus sphere, and remember, only the top half of that sphere has flowers. The bottom half is covered in our foliage, and we've left the space for our dome light to fit in there. The only thing we have left to do with our flower ball is to place our acrylic strings. But as for right now, what we're going to do is we are going to finish setting the bling on the inside of this box. Now what I'm going to do is, as you can see, that lip there that we're looking at, I'm working on the opposite side, but if you look more towards the top of your screen, that lip there cannot take that 4-layer bling wrap. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut 1 layer off of that bling wrap, and I am going to place that 1 layer in that space, and that should be suffice to cover the inside of that frame that we're looking at. And to get that done, of course, same thing, E6000 glue, hot glue, place it on there, and then we're going to follow that step all around the box, of course being sure to cover the top of that box, the inside that you're looking at, the top of that box as well, with bling wrap, and that lip of the box will be able to take all 4 layers. All right, here is our completed decorated box. You can see where I went in and I put 2 layers of bling wrap at the top and bottom of those frames. I also put some of those flower embellishments on there. The top of that box I lined with my black and white bling wrap because, to be honest, I ran out of my regular bling wrap. And then on the sides I hot glued an E6000 those acrylic gems hanging from the top of that box. And so there you have it. When you look on the inside, you can see that it is a complete and finished project. And of course, when you look at the outside, you can see how beautifully it is decorated as well. Now the last thing we have to do for our flower ball is we are going to turn on our dome light, and we are going to set it in place, making sure that it sits nice and flush in that space that we have cleared for it, pressing down on it gently but firmly. And then we're going to take our greening pins. We need 2 of them only for this part of the project. And we are going to take our acrylic strings, double them so we can get double the effect, more surface area. And I am just going to thread my greening pin right through those gems. Once I have done that, I lift up one of my leaves, I push it in there, and then I duplicate that step on the other side with another string of acrylic gems and another greening pin. And once I have done that, this portion of our craft is complete. Now, just so you can have an idea of what this is going to look like, I will show you just a rough draft. The box, of course, is still tied together and has not been cleaned. And we're just going to place our sphere on top of that box. There you have it. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our dramatic, modern look boxes. Prepared, of course, with acrylic hanging beads, lots and lots of bling, lighted and topped with a beautiful floral arrangement that is fit for the most exquisite event. Listen, I would love to hear from you in the comment sections below. Please let me know how you would use these boxes and at what event, or if you would have done anything differently. Also, if you are subscribed to my channel, I say thank you so very much to you, my subscriber, to my faithful subscribers. And if you are not already a subscriber, we invite you to join our community, and be sure, once you subscribe, to click that notification button to ensure that you will always be aware when another video has been released. Listen, as always, it has been my pleasure working with you guys, and until next time, I look forward to seeing you, and I bid you all farewell, and I say to you, be well.